good evening, people. Good evening, good evening, people out there. This is Spirit Journey. And yes, this is another live stream in Rwanda. And that's my little dog. You can't really see him in the dark. Yes, him right there. That's Lavender. He's all curled up. Yes, good evening. Today is May 2, 2025, and it's just after 7 p.m. Yes, it's evening time. And yeah, I'm in bed. Yeah, for me, I like retreating to bedtime when it gets dark out there. Yep, that's how my body is. When the sun's up, I'm up. When the sun's down, I like to be curled up in bed. Yep, feel real good right now. Very relaxed. And I'm going to talk to you about my day. Yes, yeah, I entitled the video, this live stream, In All Things Give Thanks. That is the answer. That is the answer. In all things give thanks is the answer. Yes, it is the answer, I think, to life in general. So I say that in the get-go about what this video is about. This video is not about making fun of people. It is not about shaming anyone. It is about life and what could happen to people. And I've talked about these things before, but I want to talk about it again because I see things here. You know, life is universal. Life is universal. And no matter where you go in life. Wherever you go, you bring yourself and you experience life. So that's what's it about. Whether in America or here in Rwanda, it's all the same because you deal with human nature. And human behaviors are pretty much universal. And in some behaviors might be more pronounced in certain areas. But it is what it is. Let me see if I can zoom in more. Yeah, I'm just showing outside my window. Yeah, there's a beautiful plant out there. It's gorgeous. Yeah, in the morning when I'm facing east right now, and it's gorgeous how the sun comes up, and you're reminded what a beautiful day it is. Yeah, seeing sunrise is a blessing, people. Seeing sunrise is a blessing every day when you see it. And yeah, we could focus on things that are, how you say, you can focus on the negative or you can focus on the positive. That's also a clue to the answer about life. No matter what life throws at you, in all things give thanks and see the brighter side of things in your life. Yeah, it's not so much what you have, it's what you focus on. Yeah, like they say, um, energy flows where attention goes, something like that. Yeah, whatever what you focus on, that will grow. And it's a reminder to myself when I get in a state and focus on the negative, is we have to start focusing on the positive. And last night I was doing thinking, um, I need to, so it's like so much I want to, I want to get out of my comfort zone and really say, hey, I want to try this, that. Yeah, fear is a big thing that holds people back. Fear. And I prayed a little bit last night and I said, uh, I want to I want to expand. And it's up to me to make the leap of faith and say, go for it. Yeah, I was just thinking, wouldn't it be something if I got out of my comfort zone and say, let me go do this or that. Only you are your worst enemy. You are your worst enemy. Yes, hello, viewer. Good evening here from Rwanda. Yeah, you can share where you're from. It's all good. It's all good. No matter where you're from, it's all good. Yeah, yeah, these are all clues, people. Any situation you may fall yourself into, whatever you focus on grows. So if you're going to focus on something, focus on the answer. That's another big clue. Focus on the answer. And I'm talking to myself when I say that too. We have to get out of our comfort zones, and sometimes we have to take a leap of faith in something. And with so-called successful people, I mean, when I hear some of the stories of now again, I'm not a fan of his, but give credit where credit is due. You know, Elon Musk. Elon Musk took a leap of faith, boy. He had like when he was trying to launch his that space thing that he has, was that SpaceX. He was laughed at. He and a friend went to talk to this person. I think it was in Russia or something. It's somewhere in Europe. About a he wanted to, I think, build a rocket, and he was just a civilian. He had some money for something. He acquired some money in one of his adventures, and the guy basically told him to go screw himself. But how many of us would have just done that? You run away with your tail between your legs. But he was he was a young guy at the time in his 20s, I think early 20s, and he didn't really know what to be afraid of. He just kept on going. I have to admire that about him. Again, I'm not a fan of his, but I heard that recently in one of his speech. It was like a biography about him in a video that I was watching, and I said, "Wow, more power to him." A lot of these rich people, they didn't start out with $1 billion. They made a leap of faith. That guy had a leap of faith, boy. Oh man. So I do commend anybody who has a business out there and they're able to support themselves honestly through them. Yeah, oh brother, I admire that. And last night I was thinking, yeah, I was praying. I said, I want to tap onto my power, my higher power. We all have our higher power. And I said, I was given word affirmations that I can do, that the power is me to do. I am focused. I'm intelligent. I seek inside my treasure trunk of ideas to dig in deep into your own treasure box of ideas, of things that could get you out of the box, so to speak. And I felt encouraged. Sometimes people, you have to encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. So with all that being said, let me share with you what my day was like today. It all ties in, but I wanted to give the answers in first because, our attention span, it may not be the biggest these days. We all looking for a hit a hit real fast, a fast rush, but we're not willing to process to see the long haul of the information. So I give the answer first, and now the details, what led up to me to do this video. Yeah, so I was talking, word of faith yesterday to myself to encourage myself, and I wanted to go, um, yeah, like fear. Fear is your worst enemy, and I don't to always depend on other people. Um, Ironically, one of my fears is travel. And here I'm a middle aged woman, traveled to a continent, Africa, from the East Coast in America, traveled to a country all by myself, um, with my luggage, and I had my belongings, the rest of my belongings to be shipped in. And I did a leap of faith. Never been here, don't know anybody here, no connections, nothing. And wow, that was a leap of faith. But I actually have a fear of travel. But I did, but sometimes what makes it easier when you're more afraid of where you are and you run away from something, that's when it's easier. So I needed to get out of New York because of the social environment at the time. I left in November. I'm sorry, December 2023, and I briefly left for 2.5 weeks in December of 2023, and then I came back in early January 2024, and been here since. And again, today is May 2, 2025. Okay, so yeah, so last night I was thinking, I really want to visit this area in Rwanda that I've been to, an acquaintance of mine who has a car. The person's a businesswoman, very successful, very, very dynamic, her thinkings. She's a young person in their late 30s. And wow, what a dynamic mind. Some people, they are fearless. Sometimes people, you gotta travel. Like some people travel just to say, oh, I travel. But to go in a new environment, and you're gonna find not everybody is like you. You're gonna have people with their own dynamics and their own set of skills and abilities, and it's marvelous. It is marvelous. So I didn't want to depend on them again. They were nice enough to drive me. They did offer. And yet our car got stuck for about 5 hours in the middle of nowhere. We got stuck in a village. And we got there. We left around, we left to go there around, I think it was 11, 10, yeah, it was 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. And then we got to this town next to the town that I went to today. Oh, what's the name of that town? It'll come to me. But I've been to it's about, it takes a little over an hour to get there by car. And yeah, so when we were leaving to go back home, um, I see an area that I thought was very, very exciting. I have a fascination, people, with hills and valleys. I love the nature. I love looking at nature and the roar. That's also why I decided to come to Rwanda, because they have so much vegetation. It's beautiful. It is a tropical beauty. It's just a plane coming. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a plane that's going overhead. Can't compete with them. So, um, when we were going home from that location, um, it was still light outside, and I saw this magnificent view. And she was nice enough, it was a new friend, but I call her my friend. And we made the left turn, and I was just thrilled by the valleys below. It was like a long strip of valleys that just seemed to go endless. And I fell in love with this. And then she goes further down in the valley, you know, and I said, yes, yes, I want this. I want this. I sound like a little kid in a candy store. I did. I said, I want this. This was maybe 2.5 weeks ago. It could be 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago tomorrow, I think it would be. Yeah. And well, I wanted to go there again. Like, luckily, I had my camera, and I took a snapshot of that particular road. I did a satellite view, and we got a regular photo view. And it like with the smartphones, when you take a picture, it gives the time, the day when you took the picture, and sometimes the location. And also, when I was there, I talked to someone who knew some English, and they told me the sector uh, where we were. Sector's like the neighborhood. In short, it really means, what location is it? And so I had that bit of information. And when I got home and looked on, to because I couldn't read the guy's handwriting at all, but the like the timestamp of the photo, I was able to get data, and then I looked on we call Google Earth, and I was able to find that intersection, and so I knew where it was, and I said, yeah, because I knew that it was past the location that we were initially going to, and then we were back home. So it was like halfway to home, Yeah, because it takes like, if you drive an hour, out, and then we were like halfway, up. So it was 30 minutes left to get home. So I knew it wasn't that far, but it just seemed far, because it was very rural. And so I said last night, oh, I really want to go back there. Oh, but I had this fear. I had this fear. I said, could I, I never, like, things could be expensive, taxis, just like in America. Taxis are expensive, in my opinion. I think it's costly. And the next alternative is a motorbike, you know. But going out to the country, it always seems to rain on you, and you don't want to get caught in the rain on a motorcycle, honey. The rain could rain very hard here in Rwanda or anywhere in the world. Um, so I had gone in my preparation because I knew I wanted to go to the neighborhood that I went to today. Yeah, the name of the neighborhood is called, okay, I have to pronounce it in American English, Rwamagana. 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 It's, what is that, what's that, a sector. They break it down in different groups. Like, you have the country, then you have the state, and then you have a city, then you have a town. It's broken up like that, but they use different words to describe it. But the sector that I was going in is called Rwamagana, and I just thought it was beautiful. And I said, I want this, I want this. I remember saying, so that was like 2 weeks ago. And so about a week ago, on the weekend, I went to we have a bus depot, bus station, and I went there to try to find out, hey, is there a bus that goes out to Rwamagana? And they said yes, and I asked how much it would have cost to there, and Yeah, because I wanted to try to prepare. I wanted to at least get information, you know, what means of payment do they accept? Yeah, they take cash, of course. And I think they also do mobile money, it's using your phone and so it's electronic, cashless. And then they gave us receipts. Yeah, keep your receipts. Yeah, let me tell you how they do it here. Because I mean, so those of you who are here, let's say you're new here in Rwanda and you want to take a bus, at least it's that the tiny buses, the white ones. Yeah, they don't use the touch and go card, that blue card. The only those big buses, they use the touch and go. They're modern and fancy looking. But this is more of a local bus. It's shorter. It's white in color, and it's a local bus. And I took that type of bus, and they take cash. And what you do, like, I got when yeah, so a week ago, I got the information or where it was, um, and how much it would cost about. So I was preparing, and then last night I prayed about the situation, and then today I said, I'm going for it. I'm going to, yeah, but I had that anxiety, okay? And I took a nice shower, just try to psych myself up to feel good, and brought money, had snacks and water with me. Yeah, when you're going out and traveling in Africa, the hunger, honey, the hunger hits you, ooh, wee. And it was a half an hour ride. I had like also little, about toilets and things like that. You don't know where they are, but I think I might have seen where at the stop that I did get off today. I think this one little thing was for you to go potty. Yeah. Um, um, Based on this man's behavior, and he went in something. I thought, okay, he has to go to the bathroom, and then he just went in that little booth or something. I said, okay, maybe that's where the bathroom actually is. And it'd be smart to have something like that here. Yeah, yeah, when you're in a place in Africa, when nature calls. I even saw a sign today that at that bus stop, and it had a sign, no urinating, and it had yeah, they had that like a symbol of someone urinating, and then the circle with an X through it. Don't do that. They don't want that to happen. Oh, Lava, you want to get down? That's my little doggy. You want to get down? Sit down, Lava. Come on, sit down. Come on, sit down. You want to get down? Come here, then. Come. I'll put you down on the floor. Come here. Come, baby. I'll put you down on the floor. Let me get your little harness. Here's my little baby. Okay, I'll put you on the floor. Okay, go. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, my little boy. Yeah, I don't like him jumping off the bed. Jumping off the bed, if you're a dog, after a while, you get back problems. Okay. Okay. So it's all good here. Okay, you can lie down, Lavin. Lie down. Come here. Just lie down. Just lie down. Good boy. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not. They don't want you to urinate out like that in public. So yeah. So either way. So last week I got the information, how much it costs to go to where I wanted to go, um, and the location. And um, so today I wanted to leave early, but it was good that the time I left. But either way, uh, I was to walk to the bus station. That's like a 35-minute walk. And then I went to the bus depot, and I remember asking a young woman where the bus to Rwamagana, and they pointed in the direction. I thanked them. And as I'm walking towards the area that they point to, a man is running towards me. He had recognized me from a week ago, And he says, Miss Rwamagana. He knew I wanted to go to Rwamagana. And he, come. Yeah, yeah. My looks, I do stand out here in Rwanda, the way I look. And so they remember me, but I don't necessarily remember the face. Okay, it is what it is, people. But they were really nice. And he brought me. And then another man tried to get the ride. He said, "Oh no, you could go to my bus." He says, "No, just." And then I pointed. I go with him, and I showed him where I wanted to go in Rwamagana. I had the picture of the location, and then it went on. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to do. I was scared. I mean, I was just a little nervous. Because I said, just go for it. Just do it. Just do it. And because you see these white buses on the road, and some of these buses, it's crowded like sardines. And yeah, you go to these buses. They don't have air conditioning. No. And when I sat on, I had like a little poncho, a very loose top, and then a poncho over, because it was actually cool initially walking to the bus station. But when I entered that bus, I felt that heat immediately. I thought, "Oh, God, yes, OMG." And yeah, so on the bus, I was one of the last people on the bus, and maybe just two people entered after. So it was a full seat. Everybody, all the seats were taken, I think. And there was the driver, and then there was like I call him like the ticket clerk. I was done, he takes cash, and I made sure I had some cash. Um, it cost 1,500 Rwandan francs to go to that location. But I actually should have paid a little less because I didn't go all the way into Rwamagana. So I got off at the half hour mark rather than the 1 hour mark, okay? Um, but yeah, I paid, and then he has this machine like it's like a card machine, and even though I paid him cash, that little thing, he asked me my name, and then he keyed it in, and then it spat out a ticket, like a piece of paper that, with my name, because he asked my name. And so I showed him, you use that when you're getting off the bus as proof that you paid. Yeah, this person in coming home did not pay. And somehow he knew, no, no, not, no, yeah, on the way there, and also on the way there, I'm sorry. Somehow the driver knew someone did pay. I know because it's a full house, whatever. How he knew who that someone didn't pay, and I guess the secret got out, and they were speaking all in Rwandan, and the person sitting next to me translates. Oh, he wants to know a ticket, because I thought he was looking at me. So I held up my ticket up, and I said, "I got my ticket." Yeah, you better keep the paper that they give you. Yeah, so this is how the process went. So they give everybody, so it takes time because they have to collect the money and then get a ticket that's generated from that little hand device, proof of payment. Because when they want to get off, you know, the driver might want to see what did you pay, and did you pay the right amount, whatever. Um, so yeah, I was like, wow, I'm really doing this. I'm taking a bus, a local bus. Yep, you heard me, local. And I would be seeing these buses in town, riding about. And I said, boy, I hope I never have to go on that. And I was like nervous of, seeing these buses, and how do people know how to go, go where they have to go. And I just, it's just my nature. I get like this. Um, but yeah, this was my experience. And so I was paid up. Everybody paid finally, and then we're off. And it was boiling. Yeah, I had to take off my hat, my poncho. Other thing I learned in this experience, yeah, you better have your water, something with you, because you never know what. You don't want to faint. You don't want to. So I made sure, get your bottled water. Put a pinch of salt in it. For your electrolytes. You can even put a little bit of honey in there, man. Cause yeah, travel increases your hunger. Yeah, I think it's nerves, but yeah, you don't want to be hungry and far from home. You make sure you get some snacks with you. You know, be discreet about it. But bottled water is always, But drinking that water also makes you go to pee pee. Just saying, people. Just saying. Okay, so I wanted to not drink too much water when I left my house. And yeah, so you make sure you travel on an empty bladder if you can, because honey, when nature calls and you don't know where to go. Okay, so we're off. And I had to open the window, man, and the person next to me, he like I initiated to try to open the window, and then he did it for me. The guy to my right, and we're off, and that breeze came in, and it felt wonderful, honey. It felt wonderful. So, uh, I said, I'm actually doing this. I feel like I am a real local now. I'm a real local. And then the guy to my left, he knew a little bit of English. I could barely understand him, but he was very friendly, very nice. And yeah, he lived in that, a little further up to the stop I wanted to get off at. Um, it was very, very positive. And and I got to see, yeah, very quickly within the first 5 minutes, greenery. And they grow rice here in Rwanda. Yes, hello, viewer. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, and yeah, they grow rice here. Yeah, they don't just grow rice in China. They grow rice in Africa too. Yeah, we grow rice here. And it's beautiful. Beautiful. I love the natural beauty here in Rwanda, where I live. And I said, while I'm actually doing this. And yeah, I had my phone with me. It had call it like Google Maps or something like that. And I was able to travel, look on Google Maps. It's like the satellite view. And I had it on at the time. Like, I was able to put like what you call like I think you call it a pin, of a location. And you can store that pin even when you close the app and when you reopen it and you open, you're looking at the satellite view. Yeah, you see, you see where your pin location, and then because it's GPS, it has another like a little ball that moves, and that's where you're located. Yeah, so I was able to follow along and have the mark. I mean, it came to me when I was on the bus doing this. I said, well, because I was scared to get off the wrong stop. I wanted to know at least where, because I didn't know what the area looked like. I mean, I only been in the area once, and it was just by chance, that we stopped for a few minutes before 2 weeks ago there, and I took a snapshot to get the a phone, you know, so I can find it later on. But it dawned on me in the bus, hey, I have my GPS on with Google Maps, and I put my pin on it. It's like a little red marker to where I want to go. And so I made the picture bigger and see the little ball where I'm going. And so when they approached the dot that I had to get off, so the guy next to me, I was telling him that, yeah, I need to get off here, and he like banged on the window, yeah, Yeah, in the West Indies, they do the same thing. In the West, I used to live in the West Indies also. And they had a little bus, and how you made it stop, you stamp your foot. Boom, 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 boom. You stamp your foot on the ground, and the bus stops. Yeah, they don't have like a bell or something like that. No. So, um, that's what happened. Yeah, and he did stop. And so I knew I was right location. And then I saw the, what do you call it? The booth. It's like it was a vegetable stand. Yeah, I wanted to try to get, like, when I, at home, went Google Maps to see what the location looked like again, and what stores are around there. So I took a snapshot of that and got the name, so I know, okay, there's a fruit place, something that sells food, and it was right across the street. Yep, yep. So I found that they sold bananas there. It's like has like a tin roof, and like just wooden wooden like a counter, it looked like a box, and it went along the perimeter of the structure, and you could put the fruits, whatever, on top, and storage underneath. It's real basic, and so it's really exciting. I knew I was in the right spot, and it was a major depot for travelers, local travelers, motos, or we call them moto, but they're motorcycles. And there was like a ton of them there on that corner. Yeah. And I saw the intersection where me and my friend from 2 weeks ago had went down on. Yeah, we got stuck there for 5 hours. We got there arrived there at 3 p.m. around, and then we left around 9 something p.m. Yeah. Oh, brother, I felt bad. Um, but yeah, I was now doing it on my own. Yeah, I don't want to always depend on others, and I have to get out of my comfort zone of, you know, yeah, I want to get out of my comfort zone and, to go on my ventures. But once you actually do it, it was actually fun. I did enjoy. I paid up right up front, kept my receipt, and I knew exactly where I had to get off, and so most of the anxiety was gone, and I was being treated well on the bus and everything, and people were. So I hear people outside. Yeah, so it's all good, people. And yeah, so what happened when I got off the bus? Yeah, I met a, oh, how do you describe them? Okay, you have the people on the motos, but you have these people, they're like liaisons. They have usually have like this little reflector jacket. They dress in regular clothes, and then they have this jacket on, um, like they're an agent, ticket agent or something like that. And they assist, like when someone wants to get a bus there, they might hail the bus to stop, and that's what he did for me. So when I got off the bus, he introduced himself, and his English was pretty good. And I made sure I got his name. Uh, and yeah, since I've been here, I try to get people's names down and write it down. You never know when you might need somebody. And it's good that, if you could get their name, and build up a rapport. So yeah, he was very pleasant. And so that's what he did. Like, he said, don't worry about when you want to get home. Because I was telling him, well, how often does the bus comes here? And because that was a big worry. I did not know whether it's just one every 10 hours or something like that. No, at least this bus, the little white buses, they are frequent. They were constantly going back and forth, back. Oh, yeah. So I know now in the future, hey, don't sweat it. take your ride whenever when you gotta go. And if you want to go home, you're just on the corner, and you just go to the bus stops, um, and it was no problem. I was happy about that. Um, yeah. So what else? I'm sorry, just trying to get my thoughts. Yeah. So I was just amazed with the area. Rwanda, I've driven through other areas. It pretty much is they pretty much are identical. The setup here, it's very agricultural and not a lot of industry in comparison to other places. Rwanda is a developing place. The people are basically very friendly. The people here are nice in general, very nice people. The weather is beautiful, but yes, you have to for it. And I strongly recommend you have a hat on, a brimmed hat. And you know what you could do? You put underneath the hat paper. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a must. A must, people, a must. Let me sit up. Yeah, you learn as you go when you're traveling, going to different places. For whatever reason, I didn't seem to really have this problem in New York City when I didn't wear a hat in New York City. No, not really. But yeah, you come here, you better get a hat, and you can stuff the part that sits on your noggin. Put paper, crumple up some paper or something like that, or you could even, fold the paper and plop it on top of your head and then put your hat on, because that sun, I tell you, that sun, the heat of the sun will go through the hat, and your head will bake like an egg, like a fried egg. So you don't want that, honey. Oh, brother, yeah. Yeah, I started feeling it when I was walking to the bus station. Um, I realized I said, shoe. Um, I should have, I wore a hat. Yes, I wore my hat, but I forgot to stuff the hat with the paper. Uh, I said, shoe, I don't want to go back. But it worked out. It worked out. Yeah, it started raining. So, yeah, so I got to the station, just sort of get my sense of direction where things were. There's a big intersection of different things around there. What else? What else? Trying to think. Yeah, um, so I communicate with that guy, the agent, and he said, "Don't worry, when you're ready to go back, I'll be here, and so I'll help you when you're ready to come back." And so I was to go down into that road. Yeah, also here. I wanted to. Yes, hello, viewer. Hello, hello. I also, being here again, I'm a single female. I travel solo, and I'm middle age, and I'm surrounded by males. Yeah, one thing I noticed here in Africa, in Rwanda, where I live, men everywhere, young men. The demographics, man, a lot of young people, young dudes. But actually, when you look at the statistics, it's actually more female than male. But the type of work, the men work outside. They're the ones that do the moto, they ride the motorcycle, for transportation for the locals, okay? And the bus drivers are men in general. So when you're outside traveling Africa, you feel like you're the only female sometimes, so you're surrounded by dudes. And I try to stand my ground, Um, See, they're curious about me because I don't look like the locals, in general. I'm generally taller. My skin is a little different than theirs. Yeah, I know that. Um, even though they wear Western clothes there, but again, you know, even if I looked at, people know who's who. You know what I mean? They know new blood. Okay. So, but they were pleasant, and I see that stand your ground. And when I say it like that, I don't mean confrontational, but assert yourself. And just say, hey, how you doing? You kind of um like you own your space. Yeah. And I think they are curious about, she's, bold. I mean, don't act like an asshole. I'm not saying that. But you're female, try assert yourself. And they kind of get kind of shy. It's funny. Even in Europe, you assert yourself, you say hello, and you stand your ground. And the guys actually are shy. They could be really shy. With- yeah, I'm not saying I'm not saying being flirtatious, but a female traveler, and you assert yourself and you're willing to talk to a guy, they may not be prepared for that. They may not expect that, you know. Um, So it works for me. Works for me very well. Yeah, they in general, yeah, you stand your ground, and yeah, they're watching you, and if people stare, yes, people stare at me. What I do is I just say hello, and I, wave, you nod your head, raise it, lift your hand like gesturing, saying hello, and you keep on going, no problem. See, yes, I am a foreigner, and it's okay to be a foreigner and make it work for you. They're curious about you. So it's an opportunity to let them know, yes, I'm a foreigner, but hello anyhow. How you doing? Good morning. You project that. Wait, say they're curious. And they want to talk to you. They're a lot of things, but they're curious. I know in America, sometimes I'm curious about other people. We're human beings. They are foreign to me as I am foreign to them. It goes both ways, and I feel, hey, make this a learning experience for both of us. Teach them about you, and you learn about them. It works for it's fantastic. This is what I really like about here, because I I I'm not from here, and I need to learn. And overall, it's been very, very positive people. I share this, as a human being who's from America, from New York City, um, living in the tropics, traveling solo, um, and how you might be perceived. How are you perceived? Well, what people perceive is money. Money. Okay. Okay. How did I word this the other day? Rwanda is a very rich agricultural world, lush and beautiful. But there is how do you say, um, there is an economic um, scarcity, to the many. Okay. Yeah, there's an economic scarcity. And if you're out there working, you're, most likely a laborer. Economic sufficiencies are very modest. And so what could happen is that people will size you up and they will ask you for money. Yeah, I'm not sure if I gave that video. A couple of, what's that, 2 weeks ago or so. I was kind of bent out of shape in a matter. Yeah, I remember I talked to a relative about it. It kind of shook me up because this was right by where I live currently. And I was shaken up emotionally because a little boy, there was a pack of children, male and female, but mostly male, and the leader of the group male. And they were very, very young. The age range, I think, was 4 to maybe 9. Little kid, I'm talking about little kids. And when they're elder, they wanted to pet dog. Yeah, I had my little doggy with me. This is just a couple of feet away from my, maybe a block away from where I live, on the same side of the road. Um, and they were being kids. And yeah, the older one, uh, I try to teach them about the dog, how to pet the dog, because they wanted to pet the dog. They would try to run and sneak a feel of the dog. And I said, "Oh, so did you wanted to pet the dog?" And so I wanted to demonstrate how to pet the dog. See, I wanted, see, they don't really have dogs as pets. See, that's a Western mentality. Dogs are not pets in this type of environment. There are dogs here. There are native dogs here, and those are outdoor animals. Okay, and that they're not for cuddling. They might have a dog. Maybe they have goats or something, or cows, and the dogs might be used as work animals. They use dogs as work animals only, or as a deterrent, like a watchdog, a guard dog. That's it. There's no Fifi love, They're not there to go cuddle, hug and kiss. No, 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 no. But I demonstrated since I've been to Rwanda for 16 months, 16, 17 months. Um, I've demonstrated, how you can hold a little dog, you can hug your little dog. I kiss my dog on the head, to show them, the people learn behaviors, okay? And so if you're going to show, show them, hey, this is how you pet a dog, this is how you hold your dog, introduce them, make this a learning experience. That's my motto, okay? But sometimes people aren't ready for lessons, but hopefully some stick. Like in a group, not everybody's going to get the lesson. Some get the lesson and some don't. Okay, it's not up to you that they learned. There's self. When what is that? When the teacher's available. When the how to go. When the student is ready, the teacher is there. Okay. Those who are waiting for a teacher will be ready, for it when time comes. Um, but the oldest boy, he was saying, now people have to ask me before, give me money. But when he said, give me my money and give me my dog, referring to me, but that my dog, he wanted to take my dog and he wanted me to give him my money. And he was being dominant. It's weird. It was an arrogancy and like an expectancy as if that's his money. You don't know what the hell I have. I don't know who the kid was, but it kind of shook me up. It shook me up about my dog. You ain't gonna take my dog from me, And I'm in Africa. I mean, I left for Africa because someone tried to steal my dog in America. You see how life is? Life is universal. So whether you're in America or in Africa, you still come out with peanuts and you have jerks. You have, I mean, the jerk in America was an adult, and then the people here were a child, a little child, maybe might be 9 years old at the most. Um, but it shook me up. It gave me a trigger. I got triggered. I think this was 2.5 weeks ago, around that time, 2.5 weeks ago, um, and it got me in a state of anxiety for about 2 days. I stayed at home. Again, I'm not here to pass judgment, but I'm not here to insult. I'm not. That's not my bag to try to insult no, I'm not insult anybody. But I'm just telling what happened to me, and it shook me up because you know I decided to leave. The straw that broke my back was that they tried to steal my dog and from me, and there's more than once that something like this had happened. And I want my little boy. Yeah, it was the same dog that they tried to steal. Yeah, my little Lappy, that's right here. Yeah, that's him right there. That's Lappy. He's sleeping right now. Okay. It's my little boy. Um, I don't want to lose him. I lost my girls, as you guys know, many of you know, I lost my little girls last year in January, it's 2024. May they rest in peace. Um, Yeah, dogs are little Fifi dogs, lap dogs are a rarity here in Rwanda. Yes, there are native dogs. The native dogs are big. They're tall and very lean. They got long, skinny tail, long ears. Um, they're sweet. I mean, but I am afraid of them. I'm afraid of the local dogs. They don't have leashes on them. They go wild. And I'm afraid of stray dogs. I'm afraid of any dog that's not on a leash or not in a behind a gate. I am afraid of them. And I'm afraid of them for my dog and for myself because I don't want to be attacked. In America, stray dogs are trouble and they bite. And but the people here don't seem fine. They're local dogs. They're little children everywhere, and then they're not locked up. The animals, they just go. But I'm afraid of them personally. So yeah. So I I was afraid about the safety of my dog. Well, what was the point? I remember I brought up this. Oh, I know I brought this up to the little boy. I remember now. I remember now. Yeah, I just wanted to interject that a couple of weeks ago, just minding my own business, walking my dog, I was approached by a pack of children. It might have been 7 of them, and unsupervised by any adult. And the elder of the group, a male, was demanding my dog and money, and he just wasn't backing off. Well, it happened again today at a different neighborhood, the Rwamagana, um, a couple of feet away, going down the hill from the bus stop. Um, these 2 little children, 2 little boys, and they maybe might be 30 feet to my left, and they're staring at me. So I said, "Hello, hey, how you doing? Maraho." Yeah, maraho means hello in Kinyarwanda. So I said, "Maraho," and Mama Moot said it means good morning. And I think at one point they might have said hello, but they're staring at. I mean, they're really staring. And the kids, these 2 little boys, they were about the same age, about maybe 8 years old. Maybe they were like a year younger than the one that I met about 2.5 weeks ago in my neighborhood, who was demanding my money and my dog. Well, these boys, it seems like a network of foolery, and it's like they teach each other the same foolery. Um, they got closer and closer to me, and I felt a little uncomfortable. Because how they were dressed, they were covered in dirt, dirt all throughout their body, their legs. They're barefoot, disheveled, and they're staring, and they're like a mischief. And I said to myself, they're not really, why they staring, say hello. I said hello. Usually you just say hello, they're curious, um, some they just want to, like like they do, at least in my neighborhood when I first arrived, they touch palm to palm. You put your hand out, and they put their palm to your palm, and that's how it was when I first came here. That's what they were doing here in this neighborhood. They were very positive, very very positive. They're very engaged. Um, but in the neighborhood I went to today, it's a little bit more what I said. It's not as economically viable, their pockets, and so the state of the mind of the people. That's what I want to really get at in this live stream. Um, so the little boys, I mean, they're like 8 years old, 8 years old, and they're coming towards me, and they're not saying anything. So I said hello again. Then they started talking. Give me money. Give me money. And then they switched it. Give me my money. I said, oh, brother. I said to myself, I'm out of here. So yeah, soon when I sent something, I said to myself, do not go further down. Oh, also it started to drizzle. Yeah, the clouds got real thick at one point, and then I felt a droplet on me. I said, uh-oh, I think it's about to rain. And those boys were right there. I said, I think I better go home, at least go back to top. I was near the entrance of that road, the main intersection with the bus, where the people's, the motor guys and everything. It's a lot of people. And yeah, there were other people in houses that were staring at me. Yeah, yeah. So I stood out and was going, heading back up the hill. It was just a couple of feet up. I see people in a private house, very modest house, and they were staring. They were looking over the wall and just staring. So I just waved, "Hey, how you doing? Marajo." I said, "Esporo," meaning I'm walking. Yeah, esporo is like, I guess, means you taking a nice haul, something like that. They use it to esporo, something like that. I say it. They know what I'm getting at. Uh, yeah, you stand out. And again, I understand. See, why get offended of someone staring at something they never seen before? They never seen someone that looked like me, maybe. You know, I mean, it's a tight community. It's a village. It's a village. Everybody knows everybody. And so I doing like a teaching lesson. Hey, they never saw anybody like me before or in the neighborhood. Be polite, and wave. Hey, hi, Marajo. At least in your travels as a solo traveler, learn at least how to say hello and thank you. Hello and thank you in the language that you're in. Yeah, and you'll go far. People love it when you try to speak their language. They love it. So say it as much as possible. It makes their day. It makes their day. And yeah, I'm not here to take away from anybody. I'm a resident here in Rwanda, and I want to make it work here. I want to make it work here in Rwanda for me. Um, and so yeah, they were staring, boy. Yeah, they do. I mean, it's an understatement about people. Yeah, people, especially in a little village, you'll stand out. Oh yeah, I know I stand out. But be polite. Because I remember, back in America, there are tons of people from all over the world. And I know maybe, on occasion I felt a little, who are they? Your curiosity. So just imagine me to them. Yeah, so you're the foreigner. You make effort. Just say hello, wave, nod. Yeah, they like that here. They're very social. They're very social here in Rwanda. They like that. I like it too. That's one of the things I really like about Rwanda is that you can say hello to people. Wave, nod your head. I love it because it makes me feel connected. It makes my day. It does. I love it. That's what I love about Rwanda. Say hello, good morning, and it feeds my soul. It really does. And maybe they need someone to say hello, you know? So yeah, so those are following me, growing up. And he said, give me my money. So I bet if I had my dog with me, no, I kept my little doggy at home. Yeah, I know about the bus frequency. Well, they tried to communicate that answer with me 2 weeks ago. No, a week ago. I took the initiative to walk to the bus station to find out where to get the bus, how much is it, and the time. And I think they mentioned every hour they go. Yeah, and then I learned yesterday the bus comes all the time. Oh yeah, they were coming, boy. So that's good. Um, so I'm being stared at, waving. And then it started raining. Oh yeah, um, so I went across the street to this little booth, a little stand. It was a little what do you call like a it's like a little stand, where they sell candies, little things like that. So I stayed under that to protect myself from the rain. Um, so my visit, cut it short. I was there for maybe no more than an hour from start to finish, from the, getting off the bus. Um, I see that um, basically, one neighborhood really is pretty much the same as others. The question is how much, the intensity of an area. Uh, Here where I live, but the neighborhood that I actually live in, you have beggars. You have the little kids, and you have adults that could ask you for money too. Oh yes, and that could be spooky at times. Last year, uh, a grown man, an elderly man, and he screamed at me. He walks right up to me, puts his hand out next to my dog. I was holding my dog in my arms. And so he put his hand right by my dog's head. So I thought he wanted to pet my dog. But no, he was begging for money, and he spoke to me forcefully, and it shook me. It's like the energy of his speech went through my chest. It shook me up. Yeah, I didn't expect that. He looked like, remember the Beverly Hillbillies? I don't mean that in pejorative, but he's a farmer. And he dressed the same. He had the little hat, the jacket. I think he had the hat on. I think he had a hat, but at least the jacket, the same type of jacket. He had the same type of outfit of the father in that TV series that came out in the 1950s. Yeah, it looked like the father of Mr. Clampett. He was just like Mr. Clampett, and so I saw him as a respectable older man. They looked about the same age. And he spoke to me like that, and it shook me, my energy. Oh yeah, yeah. It's sad, people. Um, yeah, I stopped going over there. I had gone there twice. It was the second or third. Well, let's see, maybe 4 times I went to that area, but I didn't go down on that. I avoided there after that incident, but I might have gone there maybe once after something, but not going far in there. Yeah, I felt safe the first time I went in, and so I was going again. I have an acquaintance that lived there, and yeah, people, they look at you, and I guess it's culture. If people, if you have something, and they're gonna be bold, hey, give me some. And see, I have my rules. I have my rules. And one thing about me is I don't give out my money. I know what it's like. I know what insufficiencies is. I know what it's like not to have an enough money for us, uh, to get food. I mean, I've always was, had some money to buy some food, but I didn't have a lot of money for food. Um, I'm a survivorist. I am a person. I will. I buy what I could afford, and I never begged. I've never done that. Um, so this part of the conversation is really about, okay, the have and the have-nots. Okay, it's a plane coming. See, you have people who think poor, who think ghetto, who think, uh, I want what you have. See, they're not really, in my opinion, the people that approach me. See, people see what they want to see when they see me. People see what they want to see. And based on my appearance, and in American standard, I am not a fancy person, or maybe I'm even considered low class. I don't wear fancy clothes. I'm real basic. Yeah. So, but here in Rwanda, my clothes might be considered boring in New York, but here in Rwanda, it's considered, my appearance is considered that they think I have. Yeah, here I noticed they do not wear jewelry, no jewelry. Basically, if they have, a little earring, just a little tiny, tiny, tiny thing. But yeah, they don't wear jewelry. Uh-uh. They don't wear watches either. Yeah, they don't have a sense of time here in amongst the general population here. Yeah, I guess they wake up with the sun, and then they go home and when it's dark. I think that, they're that way. I don't believe I don't go up to people, even when I lost my job in New York. I didn't go up to people and beg for money. Do we have people in New York who beg for money? Yeah, these are usually the people. They live on the street, or they live in a shelter and panhandling. And they're panhandling because generally what happens, why they panhandling is because they're a drug addict. They get their drugs, their cigarettes, and their booze. Okay, that's what they got. That's why they're begging. They're chemical dependent. They are chemical dependent, and so they need to keep on feeding their habit. So I've never done drugs, and so the money I got was for my food. Okay, and I've shared this story before. It's the mindset of a person. This is the key to everything I'm saying here. Everything I'm talking about, again, I'm not here to pass judgment, whatever. I'm just stating the events and how I interpret it, and that's about it. And to learn from it, that you have people who like where I'm from, New York City. You have beggars, and oh, you bet. But usually these beggars, because they're drug addicts or something like that. They have some type of chemical dependency. They could be living on the street, or they actually live in a shelter. Now, I too had lived in a shelter in New York City. Yes, I did. And I did a job when I initially went in it. I was uh, verbally threatened by the person in charge there. Here, I'm a veteran. She's talking to a veteran like this. You don't find a job at the end of the month, you're out of here. Real nasty lady. Yeah, she was from Cuba, from Cuba, and some people don't, it goes to their head. So, modern day Cuba, they don't have a pot to piss in, okay? But some of them might come to America, and she was one of the lighter skinned one, more Caucasian looking one, and they don't want to be associated with their past of being from the Caribbean. They want to use colorism. Some of them are like this. We know it. Don't my telling the truth about it doesn't mean racism. I'm calling it as my experiences had shown. Anybody could be a jerk, an asshole, a racist, whatever. They come in all colors, all nationalities, all religions, etc., etc. Okay, that's just been what I'm saying this for. But that archetype, foreigner from a poor ass place, and then when they come in a seat of power, what they perceive as power, she was the director of that little shelter. The shelter held maybe 9 women. Okay, wasn't a big place, and but yet they had illegals. They had 2 illegals from China there. Okay, but they weren't required to do anything. See that? See that? Here, I'm a veteran of the United States military, and here you had 2 illegals, and they did not have to follow any rules of getting a job, getting a bank account, all these things. And I am about rules. I follow the rules, okay? But see that? So I remember that interview when she was going over my paperwork, and I didn't like she talked to me. And interesting, later on, she had needed my help because one of the uh, girls that lived there, one of the residents of the shelter, lied on a bunch of people. You have psychos in these homeless shelters. They invent stories. They may even try to befriend you to later harm you in some way. They are psycho people. Yeah, I met them. They're there. And I've met people who they're watching you. They're watching to see what you have. We had these lockers you put our belongings in it, our toiletries and stuff. And they always want to go in your business. And I did have a bottle of fume in there. Yeah, I did have my Chanel number 5. Yeah, Chanel, or, hello, Chanel number 5. That is a badass perfume. Yeah, I was introduced to that perfume by a family member. I like the cologne, the light one. I bought for myself the perfume for one of my birthdays. Um, some years after my stay at a homeless shelter. Okay. Yeah, but shout out to Chanel number 5. That is a really nice scent. And I had it on, in my locker. And so she saw what I had. And then later on, she's, oh, some people, they like these perfumes. And, oh, it stinks. Da, da, da. You have jealous women. You have jealous individuals. And they don't want to see you happy. They're miserable and miserable company, right? And yeah, people that we were all in the same boat. And we all had to, at least the blacks and the Hispanics that were in there, we were all right to get a job and a bank account and prove that you're saving your money. And I have no problem with that because my aim was to get my own place. This was just a temporary situation, and life happened to me, and thank God it exists. It existed, so I could survive. And you would think people would be more appreciative. You have a lot of selfish people. That's what I'm learning about this planet. You have selfish visuals. And even though you're in the same boat, you're literally in the same place. And they're judging each other who has more, who has less. Oh, I don't like you. Or, get focus on your goal. Your goal is to get out of there, get your own place. But some people don't look at that. You have people who are what you call the homeless shelter queen. They want to run the show of the homeless shelter and bully people, usually fat ass women, real fatty. Yeah, I said it like that. It's an attitude. They have a funky ass attitude. And they don't mind their business. And they don't seem to know boundaries either. Act like they're in prison. Now, they chose to go in that homeless shelter. But they want to run the show of the homeless shelter, and they go from shelter to shelter, and they're not learning about personal responsibility. Yeah, it is about personal responsibility. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. What happened to you? Okay, it's a temporary situation. Make the best out of it. Learn from it. Meet people, say hello, you know, enjoy each other's company if you can. And it's just temporary until you find your place. Some people don't realize that use the time in between homes to get your act together, to save up. But they want to gossip, point a finger, name call, and steal from one another. These aren't hungry ass people, especially not that fat ass woman. That was a buffalo, man. So she getting her food, her substance somehow. And I was I was thin. I was getting thinner. Yeah, when you don't have a lot of money for food, you do start to, yeah, I don't believe in eating um, when money was real tight. Um, candies. I bought the essential. Learn how to buy essential. Get real food. You can buy a bag of rice, brown rice. Buy some beans. My best meals, people, my best meals was in my insufficiencies, my financial insufficiencies, or my cupboard was thinner because I was running out because I needed to go to the store. That happens too. You may not go right away to get your groceries, and it starts to trickle down. And my best meals are during those times. Yeah, it just somehow tastes better. And I'm in gratitude, people, gratitude. Learn how to have gratitude with what you have. Man, I love food. I like my food. And I like my seasonings. Yeah, when you got the right seasoning things, man, wonderful. And I could enjoy the simple things in life. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy it. You don't need a lot of food to survive, just the essential. Again, the main thing, you have insufficient food insufficiencies. Basically, you'd be getting, carbohydrates because proteins like meat, like beef, goat, or eggs even, um, chicken, it could be pricey. So basically, you're getting your nutrients in the form of starch. But if you get starch, get something whole grain. Get beans. You could get onions for it, a garlic, salt and pepper. Girl, you're good to go. You're good to go. But no, you have people who don't appreciate their food. These are people who make food. Yeah, you ever eat in a cafeteria when you were a kid and people who make fun of food? Stay away from those type of people because they're losers. Yeah, that's a judgment call. Yeah, they're losers in my opinion. You better give thanks for food and stay away from people who mock food because they don't respect food. You don't respect food. Eating is the basic essential in this world. Eating is the basic essential. It is essential that you get food and water. And when you don't give thanks. I pray over my food. I give my thanks. That's what I mean. I give my thanks for my food. Sometimes I get real hungry and I put food in my mouth before I physically gave my word of thanks. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I said, "I maybe to hungry. I was meaning to say thank you." And I give my thanks. Yeah, people, give thanks for the food that you get. And I think the universe would continue to give you food. Yes, in your insufficiencies, yeah, you could survive. If there's no food, there's no food. That's another story. When there's what do you call it, a drought, a famine. That's the word I'm thinking. Famine, and there's no that. I've never been in famine. Um, But I think even in famine, whenever you give your thing, and the universe will give you more. Yes, I live by that. I live by that. I see. I remember the people that I went to elementary school, the people in the homeless shelter. You have people who are underdeveloped mentally. They are severely underdeveloped mentally, socially. And so they think like see, it's not even like an animal, because the animal lives by instinct. But these people, I don't know what the hell they live by. I think they live by a parasite, evil. They don't give thanks, and they always want. And they want to see what you have. They're all about everybody but themselves to get themselves out of their hole, but they want to point a finger at you about how you're dressed. One of the people when I was in the shelter, a worker there said, "Oh, you're wearing the same clothes." She was a Jamaican woman. Piece of shit. Yeah, I said the word. I said the shit. Yeah, she was a piece of shit. And see, you get these people from these foreign countries, and they get a little job, and then they're going to make fun of somebody who's in a shelter. Hello? Yeah, I left with just the clothes on my back. I just had the clothes on my back. How dare that person? See, you have losers that work in the shelter system, and they usually ethnic minorities or from poor ass nations, and they come to America to poo poo the locals who fall in hard times. But they too are a check away from poverty, and these women try to sleep around to get money. I said it. We all know what they're doing. Yeah, there is trash out, and there's people that are walking on eggshells. You have people out there who are walking on eggshells. They are a check away from poverty, a check away from not being able to pay their rent. and they make fun of someone who doesn't have any clothes but what's on their back. Shame on that woman. Shame on that woman. Yeah. So you have people, they should not be in the positions that they're in, but they're in it. And they are some of the evilest people on this planet. Yes, see, they haven't learned. See, when you have gone through, especially living come from Jamaica or Haiti or Cuba, these are poor ass nations. And a lot of people don't like people using the word that's a place is poor. Oh, well, they got minerals or this or that. Well, if they rich and got all those minerals and this and that, why aren't they using it for their economic freedom? Because they're underdeveloped. They're not utilizing what they have. And true, you have Western nations that made a deal with them who are extracting, but it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. And usually it's the leaders that make a behind the door agreement. Let me take your resources and I'll pay you money so you can get that fancy house in France, money for your mistress. You could go to the clubs, in Monaco. They all play the same freaking game. They play the same game, people. And so, yeah, you have people who, they're not really starving. Oh, there's another place coming. That's a wait. Yeah, people, they're not really starving out there. They really aren't. They just look at others and they size them up and they make an assessment. Oh, that person, they look like they're from a Western country. They got more. I'm going to go and I'm going to demand money from them. They think money grows on trees. They think money grows on trees that you're supposed to give them. See, it's up to them. It's not my responsibility to give anybody my money, especially a child. I don't believe in giving money to children. No, no. You know what I don't like? You see, what happens? You go on your vacation, you're going through a village or something, and all the little kids run after the bus. Want to hear why they run after the bus? Because people, you okay, baby? My little doggy. It's okay, baby. Yeah, I see you, baby. It's okay. Okay. He's walking now. It's okay, baby. Okay, yeah, I had to just see what it's doing. Okay, what happens? Oh, what was I saying now? Yeah, you have people. Um, they see what you have and they want it. And oh yeah, why I don't want to give money to people? Yeah, it's not my responsibility to I cannot save the world, but I can try to save myself. And if I can assist somebody in my own way, I want to be heart led in what I do. And it's not money that they need. What they need is uh, they need a change in perspective on their thinking. It's a thinking problem many times. Many things, it is their thinking. I am not a rich person. I live in my means. And I'm willing to, I don't go out partying. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. Many people lose money because they do those things. They buy drugs, they buy alcohol, they buy cigarettes. Honey, that will make you that will make you not have enough money for food. So I buy those things. So that money goes for my food. Okay. So again, it's priorities. You have to set up your own priorities out there. What is it? A lot of the blacks, urban blacks in America, their god is their bling. They want to get a cheap ass necklace, those chain necklaces, gold teeth, right? Um, oh, back in the day when I was a kid, it was Pro-Keds, right? And they always had money for the nickel bag, right? But they're the ones who have to who get free lunch. My family had to pay for my food school. We pay for our food in school, but the poor ass so-called poor kids who somehow have money for drugs and their heads and the latest clothes, right? Those are the poor ones. And see, they learn. They have bad priorities. Not like they could have used the money that they bought for their drugs and they could have gotten a tutor for their school, the subject, because many of them, they're not bright. They get in the remedial classes. You could have used your money to get a tutor. But see, this is the difference between true, innovation. Innovation is not, it's not that they were rich. They became rich because of their innovation. They became rich because of their innovation. The mind, their mind pulled them out of where they were. Many people start out like Elon. His father, I think he had a good job. Yeah, and the country was in. He was of a better social class than the blacks of the day. But you still got to work. Just because you're white, anybody could be poor, even white people. And if you sit on your ass and do nothing, you'll be a poor white person too, right? So he took the initiative. He had he had a mind of ideas, and he was what you call a risk taker. The word entrepreneur means risk taker. Well, he took that risk. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Again, I'm not a proponent of Elon Musk, but I give credit where credit's due. He took on to himself and he built an empire. Okay, he built an empire because of his thinking. He wasn't brought up rich. He was not a wealthy man, but he made something out of himself because he applied himself. A lot of urban blacks in America do not apply themselves, or they apply themselves in a negative way, meaning being a drug dealer. You get caught selling drugs, the money you have will be confiscated from you, and you'll have nothing. So it's a short-lived occupation, but they see how they feed your mind with those video games. Videos, music videos of the bling bling and the gang banging, right? The hip hop culture is actually, in my opinion, a culture of socially engineer the black race in America to stay at the socioeconomic bottom of life. And they haven't excelled. Well, some do excel in life. Some black Americans have a nice job. They do very well. But the masses, are not doing well in their mind. Their mindset is in the past. That's one thing that in America, my mind always in the past, always in the past. And I was not liberated. I was in mental distress. about the situation. It was hard for me to focus. I felt like I was choking. And, but when you transform your mind, people, when you're able to transform the way you think. I was in that homeless shelter just like those other ladies with me, but I got out. And I made sure I followed the rule. Follow the fucking rules. If you don't want to follow the rules, get out. I decided to follow the rules so I can get out of that system and get my own place. Before I to the shelter in New York, I had applied for uh, this apartment, this new high-rise apartment. It took 13 months to process. There was no guarantee I was going to get it, but it came through and it took 13 months. And I'm very grateful for that place. It was a nice place. See, yeah, people there basically ended up in neighborhoods with their mindset. You had the woman from Puerto Rico. She moved to um, the ghetto in the Bronx. Another girl, black girl from America. She winded up in Brooklyn in uh, a modest, a black neighborhood, et cetera, et cetera. But I ended up in one of the best places. It was a beautiful high-rise luxury building. Yeah, see, some lifestyle is by planning. And yeah, anything could have happened and everything could have fell through and I did the apartment. Yeah, they have these things, 80/20 buildings, and you have to have good credit. And luckily my credit was good enough. And but a lot of people have bad credit and they beef about it. And they beef about having poor credit, but you got yourself in a bad credit situation because of your lifestyle most of the time. Most of the time, it's a lifestyle. You like to, instead of paying your rent or your electric bill or whatever, or you buy using credit cards, you buy clothes for the club, right? You get your hair and nails done, but you pay your fucking rent. And then, honey, the first thing I'm paying is my rent and my bills. I do not go. Yeah, I live a very boring life, right? Yeah, I don't go to clubs. I don't drink alcohol, cigarettes, or what else, etc. Right? So I have to spend on my food, right? I'm not interested in those designer clothes. Yeah, I shopped cheaply. And when I had a little bit more money, when I did get a job and my economic situation was improved, but still I realized, I don't have to go to any fancy store. Who am I trying to impress? Who? So I get my clothes from the Salvation Army. Yes. I went there constantly and bought stuff. You can buy beautiful things for less. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then over the internet also. That was my latest, yeah, getting stuff over the internet. So, yeah, um, you buy in your means. And I think in many situations, your lifestyle is based on your actions or your inactions. Decided, oh, you're not going to pay your electric bill, and then you complain, oh, my electricity is out, my kids are living in the dark. Well, that was your choice. That was your choice. I know I don't want that for myself. And kids that I see here, are they really hungry? I mean, some people could really be hungry. Um, but I mean, they're surrounded by farmland, right? They're not really sorry. It is their mindset. They didn't bathe. Why aren't they bathed? Why don't you bathe your children? You have to ask yourself because, like, and I'm not being mean. I'm not being mean. I've been to homes and they're filthy walls. They had nice things. They dressed nice, but the place was filthy. It's a mindset. Um, you have people who, they don't care about their kids. And they don't feel a priority to bathe their children every day. Or at least wash your face. But again, it's lifestyle. And again, you have two people and they get the same amount of money. One bathes and one doesn't. One combs a little child's hair and one doesn't. What is the outcome? It's what you do. It's what you do with what you have. And in America, I met women. One was both were children, young mothers with children. And I knew both of them was on public assistance. Well, there was a smart of the two. She went through hard times, whatever. One of them, she spoke well. She just in need. And yeah, she's telling me that she's on public assistance. It was just a temporary thing. While the other woman was a very stereotypical street woman. And she's acting every bit of the poor, poverty, ghetto woman. And a woman like her, I don't think will ever get out of the ghetto. And some people aren't meant to get out because of their mindset, while others, it's just a bump in the road. Think of life, and I had reminded myself this when I was feeling sorry for myself the other week. Um, what's that? What was I saying now? Don't feel sorry for yourself. I mean, encourage yourself. You need to encourage yourself. And it's just a bump on the road. You're going to have people who are going to say things, do things to you. You're going to experience things. Think of those things are bumps in a road. A road always seems to have a bump somewhere. And the initial bump might shake you up a little bit initially, and then it smooths out. Think of that as a bump on the road. And what could you learn from that bump on the road? It will actually enrich your life. I don't like I mean, I like that. But I told myself, I said, hey, you're feeling bad about certain things. It's just a bump on the road. Expect them. Expect them to come on occasion. It's what you do. You got to encourage yourself because only you live within yourself, your thoughts. And when those stress come, how are you going to respond? How are you going to respond? Okay. You have a choice. You have two women. They're both really in the same economic condition, but it's the mental condition that's going to keep one stuck and the other one when things simmer down. It's going to improve, and they'll do things to get out of the situation. You may need to separate yourself from certain people. You may need to move from the community you're in because of the mindset of the people that will pull you down. There are people, even in the homeless shelter system, will try to pull you down with them to stay down. And you have to remind yourself this is a bump on the road. And when you have the opportunity to leave, okay? When you have the power to leave it. And don't associate with certain people because their mindset is in the gutter. The mindset is based on insufficiency. And so they're going to have that. So for me, um, I don't want to stay stuck. I don't want to be around people who don't teach their children the value of hard work. Um, you better, ladies, parents, not just ladies, parents, caretakers, bathe your children every day. Give them a sense of dignity. Bathe them, comb their hair when you can, right? Or if you don't want to comb their hair, put a scarf on their head. Have dignity wherever you are. Have a sense of dignity about your appearance. You know, I mean, I like to dress real casual, but it's ain't just dressing casual. You don't want to be fancy, but one thing where it's like looks like neglect. That's what I'm getting at. You know, fix up your kids in the morning. Uh, give your little children chores. They have people, and it always seems to be like you get a pack of boys. I guess the girls stay at home mostly, and the boys are more adventurous and they go out. A lot of time, these little boys they get in trouble. Stop sending out your children in packs. Don't have them walking around. What they should be in school. Why are they out there? You need that response to put that responsibility on them to go to school or their consequences. Make sure that there's consequences for their behavior. You know, the importance of school or homeschool your children. Respect their adults. They're not respecting some of the adults here. And when you do that, you're going to have a faulty society. You better respect your elderly, you know, assuming that they have value, that they were goodly people growing up. Um, yeah, you gotta, I'm concerned about the world and in communities where you have a large amount of small children. It is a correlation. Poverty and the number of kids you have. More poverty, more children. More affluent, less number of children. So it's backward. It's backwards. But that is the system. And you got to teach your kids value that life isn't here to give you things. You have to earn it. Teach your children a skill. Teach them how to respect their elders. And give them a sense of responsibility. That's important. You have to groom your children, especially your little boys, because they could get in a fight. And yet there was a fight the other week. Yeah, a fight. And you have to take initiative because they're out there, these kids, they're not being supervised. And where could they go? What social services? Yeah, someone was telling me about social service. They needed to go to social services for something that was said. And I'm thinking, why isn't that a shame that they would have to go? But again, your taxes are paying for it. So you reap the benefits that you qualify for. But use those things that you qualify for as just an interim of when things will balance out. Yeah, because you're not nurturing a lot of these kids. They're like renegades, and it's making them aggressive. It's making them aggressive. How they might talk to one another. Yeah, it's very sad, people. Um, Yeah, parents, your kids are going out there demanding people give them finances. Teach them a skill. Teach your little children a skill that they can do. Okay? And they'll appreciate it if, maybe not right away, but I think a lot of the aggression happens with these little children is the lack of discipline. They don't feel loved. And they're like wilding. They're just out in the street doing that behavior. I think because they don't have structure at home and there's no one showing them the light. You got to teach your kids the basics. When you have a society that does not respect their older population, you're going down for the fall hard. Yeah, whatever brought up in life can also take you down. And I repeat, whatever brought you up will bring you down. Yeah. So these children that I saw, they weren't being supervised. They weren't being educated. And so the default is mischief. You get a young child that hasn't developed a sense of right and wrong, they weren't instructed, well, they're going to face a situation and then it's not going to go well with them. Yeah, you got to make the right decisions. And we don't have it all, we may not have all the answers, but what you have, utilize what you have well. And I think the Creator will bless you. Yeah. It rains on both the righteous and the wicked. What are you doing with what you have? And that's what I have to do for myself, to think outside of the box. Maybe surround myself with a different mindset of people. You want to have a poor mind, stay around with poor-minded people. You want to enrich your mind, your abilities, stay around with enriched people. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say, people. But I was sad about the beggars. I'm wondering, you know, who to really contact in something like. Yeah, I did notify somebody regarding the incident with the boy. So they're going to take my dog. Um, oh, what happened now? Yeah, I had said I have a friend that works in the police department. I haven't heard from them. Yeah, it's a lot of that miscommunications. People not communicating. You send a message, you don't hear anything from them. That happens a lot. That can to you. Um, but yeah, do what you can do for yourself. Mentor your sons and your daughters. You need to mentor them. You need to educate them. Even like little dogs, you gotta train them. Don't train them, they're going to be wild. You have to train these other people or Uh, yeah, people, it is what it is. It is what it is. And I want to see, what, I want to talk to someone about this, about the children and about the aggressiveness of these little kids and why aren't they in school? You got to give them some type of outlet. Because this outlet that they have, they're going to turn it against you. And that's what I'm afraid of. Yeah. So, yeah, it's an eye opener. Going to different places and seeing that here in another town, 40 minutes away, and yeah, people are people. People are going to be what they are. So I pray in my situation that um, help teach me to think outside the box, give me the wisdom, knowledge, and truth to move ahead. So that 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 are, that is that are my words. So Yeah, thank you, people. Boy, yeah, I just had to get this off my chest. I hope one day I'm able to solution for the masses here, the little children who are begging for money, you know? Um, I don't know what they need the money for. I'd be interested in, hey, what are you going to want? What to buy? It's going to be funny what they want. It's going to be funny. They're not going to use it to buy food. They see items and they just feel that they're entitled to it. And they want the system to pay for everything. Nope, I don't agree with that. There got to be another solution to these situations. I hope the child insufficiencies financially, I hope it's reconciled soon. Thank you again. Peace, love, joy, and harmony. And those of you who this far in the video, write your thoughts down. You can write it and send it to me. I'll be very eager to know, um, do you confirm what I'm saying or not? It's all good, whatever how you want to see things. Um, I wish you the best. So people out there that are watching, peace, love, and joy to you. I am signing off. Thank you again. Bye-bye.